You are tuned in to the Guyer Football Radio Network. This is the Coach Rodney Webb Show, brought to you by BudBartleyHomes.com, Marty B's, the Law Office of Kimberly and Shanklin, Cloud Realty, and patrons of the show. I'm John Piper, joined by Rick Threlkill. We're now joined by head coach Rodney Webb. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, guys. Doing great. It's been a great week.
And it's Thanksgiving week. Always a special time of year to be practicing on Thanksgiving Day and playing football on Friday. Late into the year, I had a chance to visit with you early this morning. You said it's a little unique because normally you're second or third round into the playoffs, and it's just your final regular season game on the road at Little Elm.
Yeah, I've always seen football on Thanksgiving week is kind of a rite of passage, and it's a pretty good sign that you've had an exceptional year. And I know for me personally, this is 7 years in a row to be practicing over Thanksgiving. And I know the Guyer program has had their fair share of Thanksgiving practices as well. I think one of the really cool things this year is that everybody is getting to experience that. So even programs that don't have a rich playoff history, they're getting the opportunity for that Thanksgiving morning practice. So I do feel like playing a regular season game Friday after Thanksgiving is going to feel a little bit like a playoff game.
Well, Coach, I was out last week visiting friends in Georgia, but I was able to listen to the game, and it was definitely a tale of two halves. I mean, McKinney Boyd jumped out to an early lead, 21-3, I think, at halftime. But you guys came storming back. Everybody wants to know, what was your halftime talk about? What about adjustments? And how do we get this thing turned around in the second half? You guys outscored McKinney 30-0.
Yeah, Rick, that's a great question. And I'll say, first of all, McKinney Boyd is a really good football team. And I caution everybody I talk to during the week, our players and staff included, that, don't be deceived by their 3-4 record. Boyd has had a multitude of injuries and COVID issues. A lot of their early season games, they had a lot of guys that were out. And they've kind of come around and really, with one exception on Friday night, everybody on their team was healthy and playing. And I think they're a team that has an opportunity to play multiple rounds into the playoffs this year. One of the best defensive teams, probably next to Ryan, the best defensive team that we've seen. So, anything that could have gone wrong for us early did. I mean, the game was playing out just like Boyd wanted it to. They wanted to have long, methodical scoring drives, keep us off the field, eat up time, play slow, and finish their drives with touchdowns. And that's what happened. For us offensively, the really important thing for us offensively was to execute well early. And we didn't do that at all. We executed poorly early in the game. And so, the end result was things went just how Boyd wanted them to go. And it's 21-0 until the last play of the first half before we're able to get on the board. So as far as, how we got ourselves in that boat, obviously it's a slow start. I wish I knew the answer. We are exploring all kinds of possibilities to figure out how to get our kids off to a better start. And I'm not an excuse maker, and I don't want any of this to come across as excuses. But we've talked about why are we not more engaged and locked in early? And everybody's dealing with smaller crowds. Everybody on the road is dealing with no band, no drill team, small student section. At Guyer, we've had the Blue Crew has kind of been in quarantine, so to speak, and there's not a lot of atmosphere right now at our games. That's not an excuse, because that's true for everybody. Everybody's facing the same thing. We just haven't handled it as well, I think, as other people have. But it is, as a head coach, I mean, it's my responsibility. I've got to get them ready to play, and clearly, what we've been doing is not getting those kids as ready to play as they need to be. So we have to start faster. Now, as far as what happened at halftime. We made some adjustments at halftime, but the biggest thing, I told the kids, I got everybody in the locker room together, and in a fairly intense voice, Coach Webb voice, I let them know that doesn't matter what we put on the board, it doesn't matter what kind of adjustments we make, if the effort and the intensity and the grit and the determination aren't better, none of it's going to matter. And I challenged them a little bit. To play harder. And to their credit, they did. They answered the bell. And we had some player-led words that were said, and that was good. And that needs to come from players sometimes. And so, we came out with a whole different mindset, and we fixed a few things. Offensively, we made a few adjustments in our running game, and that was a good change. And then we got the ball rolling. We got momentum going, and as we developed the momentum, the players came to life. I mean, we sort of created our own fire, so to speak, and rest is history.
Well, Coach, like a good racehorse, your Wildcats really came through there towards the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, and won the game. Nobody does it quite like they speak with their legs. B.J. Phillips had another big night, 18 carries, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eli Stowers provided a spark on the ground as well, 121 yards on 13 carries, and really added the exclamation mark on that long touchdown run. I think the momentum really changed, though, after the safety by Rowan Briggs. Once you got that safety, you could just tell the mojo was all Geyer.
Yeah, for sure. That was the play of the game. It really was. And we're sure proud of the way the defense played in the second half, the effort they played with. And then that was definitely a catalyst for sure. I know we had made it 21-10, and they went on a long drive. They didn't score, but I remember thinking, there's 2 minutes to go in the third quarter at that point in time. And I remember thinking, I don't know, as methodical as this game is going, I'm not sure we're even going to have time to come back. And from that point forward, we come back and score 23 points. Really proud of our kids.
Yeah, it was awesome to hear the comeback at the end for sure. I had several of my golfing teammates huddled around to listen. We missed a good part of the first half. I only caught the last couple of minutes. We had a dinner and everything, so it was exciting. Well, your final regular season game is a 2 p.m. start on the road at Little Elm. What I want to know from you, Coach, is it difficult to keep these guys focused during the Thanksgiving week? I mean, I know there's a little air of coolness about playing the game or still being in contention, but still there's a lot of distractions for the holiday week.
Yeah, Rick, I think I'm probably going to be able to answer that question a little bit better after the game on Friday. I mean, priority number one for us is to start better. And so we've certainly got high expectations. As I told our kids, with no disrespect to Little Elm, this game has nothing to do with Little Elm for us. It has 100% has to do with us, and it has to do with us playing better. Little Elm is a team that certainly can give us some issues, and they've given other people issues this year. They took Allen to the wire this year at their place. The quarterback threw for 500 yards in that game, so they are certainly capable. But I am concerned about how we play on Friday. So our expectations are high for our players, and we're not a team that can afford a letdown. We haven't played well enough to have that opportunity. And for us to come into form and play as well as we're going to have to play come playoff time, we've got to play well in this game. And there's just no margin for error for us.
Yeah, no doubt. And plus, on top of having some skill, like you said, Little Elm comes into this one with really just pride to play for at 2-6. And that always has to concern you when a team has skill and nothing to lose.
Oh, without question. They're coming off an open week. And so they spent an open week working on the Geyer Wildcats. And there's always, in a situation like this where a team's had an extra week and they really don't have, playoffs to play for, there's no telling what we're going to see. I mean, there's certainly going to be an element of surprise on Friday. We may see anything from them offensively or defensively.
Well, Coach, you've had several players out of action the last few weeks, kind of nurturing some injuries and things of that nature. Is your plan to, if they're ready to go, rest them this week, or would you like to see them in action? Is it important for a high school athlete to get those reps prior to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's important to get reps. I think it is, and I think Anybody that's capable of playing on Friday is going to play on Friday. And again, we just haven't, we haven't really earned that right at this point in time because we're not playing championship football yet. And so I think anybody that's capable of playing is going to play. Now, the thing about it is we've got kids that have been out with injury, and some of those guys aren't going to be ready to come back. And we're not going to roll a kid out there in a game that doesn't have any implications in terms of playoffs. We're not going to roll a kid out there that's not ready to play or that we're is compromised in terms of health. And so we've got to find that balance. But for sure, I mean we're certainly showing up Friday to win the game.
Anything jumping out on film? I know you've had a couple of days now to focus in on the Little Elm Lobos. Anything jumping out at you in the film sessions and what we can expect from Little Elm this week?
The thing to me that stands out about them is that they have really, really good skill players on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. They're a man cover secondary, and they're really good. It allows them to play an extra hat in the box. So, they've been, at times this year, they've been really good defending the run. I know the week they played Denton Braswell, they'd only given up one explosive run all season, and that was, I think Braswell was game 6 or game 7. They'd given up one explosive run all season, and now Braswell cracked the code a little bit. Allen certainly cracked the code, and they had some big runs. And then McKinney Boyd had 2 or 3 big runs in their last game. But up until that point, they've been very good because they just throw so many hats at you in the box because they feel good about their ability to play man coverage. Obviously with our injury situation right now, we're not as explosive at receiver as we'd like to be. And so that's going to be a challenge for us Friday is we're going to have to find ways to beat man coverage. Sometimes you got to trick things up a little bit to be able to get guys free. And so that's what we're trying to do this week. You'll see some different motions from us, some different alignments this week in an effort to set our kids up for success against man coverage. And then their offensive skill kids, again, they threw for 500 yards against Allen. And, their ability to catch the football and make a play is about as good as anybody that we've seen this year. So they definitely pose some problems for the opponents.
Well, Coach, we love to throw you off base a little bit with the lighthearted question, of the week. But I think this one, it's obvious given the time of year what I might be getting ready to ask you. So here it comes, and it comes in 2 parts. Where will you be celebrating this Thanksgiving holiday, and what does the Thanksgiving feast consist of at the Webb family table?
Both great questions. So we are going together as a family, and I know that's there are a lot of people right now encouraging people not to do that. We're going to do it very safely. Yeah, my family all lives in the Rockwall area, so we're going to be back with them, and we'll all gather at my sister's house. She's got a big house there, and with a big yard, and the weather's supposed to be nice, so we're going to get outside and have a little Thanksgiving picnic and be out in the open air. And the Webb family Thanksgiving, because I come from a big family, so there will be 30 plus people there because I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters. They've all got kids, and then their grandkids at this point in time. So there's going to be a bunch of people there, and it's just a potluck. So there's always more food than we can eat, and it's never as healthy as you want it to be. And I'll always take a nap after eating a bunch of turkey, So that's going to be it. As far as like my favorite family dish, man, I could go a lot of different directions. But there's a corn casserole. I don't even know who makes it, but somebody makes it every year. There's a corn casserole, and there's a green bean casserole that I'm partial to. So I always get like one extra spoonful of that. And then dessert-wise, there's always a peach cobbler. And so you can't beat peach cobbler.
No, that's a man.
So as long as those dishes are there, I'm good. Yeah.
Well, Coach, just a tag team on that one. Little Bluebell ice cream that goes on the warmed-up peach cobbler?
Oh, without a doubt. Homemade vanilla. And you just can't beat peach cobbler and homemade vanilla, right? So
no doubt.
And will you be wearing stretchy pants? We know we probably will. Rick and I will at our house, I'm sure. So
definitely.
Yeah, stretchy pants, or I may just have to go with like athletic shorts or something, because you got to account, you got to plan ahead for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, Coach, back to football. Last question. Rick and I are talking about a Geyer victory Friday afternoon. And Rick, you and I might have a turducken there in the booth. What do you think?
Definitely.
Something like that? Yeah, turducken.
On the John Madden style.
Yeah. What will it take from your team, to get it done? You mentioned there's going to have to be a couple players step up and step out and maybe some new roles or haven't played a whole lot. What's it going to take for a Geyer victory Friday afternoon?
Well, John, I think two things stick out to me. One of them is the point you just touched on, that we are continually having to rely on kids to step up that haven't necessarily been in the fray. Ryan Yates is a guy this week. Deuce is not going to be suited up for us, and Ryan Yates is a guy that's going to be playing corner, and it's a great opportunity for him to step up among other guys. And then I think the other thing is a fast start. I think that's clearly, like, everybody knows. And I'm not running from it or hiding from it. We have got to learn how to start games faster. We've dug ourselves too many holes that we've barely been able to climb out of. So I think that's the other thing. And then that's going to be our number one priority, is to jump on them fast on Friday.
That'll do it for this edition of the Coach Rodney Webb Show. Coach Webb, best wishes Friday afternoon, and good luck on the road at Little Elm.
Hey, I want to wish y'all a happy Thanksgiving and also a happy Festivus.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much. We'll see you on the turf Friday.
Go Wildcats.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Go Wildcats.